All right, let's go to Saturday. We've got Oregon State and App State. Oregon State 2.5-point road favorites, 54.5 the total. Both of these teams are coming off disappointing losses, but for different reasons. Oregon State, heartbreak for them. I mean, they had that game in the bag against Houston until they didn't. I mean, it was a terrible performance by Houston. Houston, hey, this is something you got to pay attention to. All these teams that are going to play these West Coast teams late at night, they're all struggling. And even Houston fell into that. Friday night against Oregon. They looked like they were in a fog for 3 quarters, the Houston Cougars in that game against Oregon State. But then Oregon State started moving the ball on offense. Houston's offense with Wegman, you had a bad first half. That was not a good first half for Connor Wegman, but they got it going, and Oregon State collapses down the stretch, made every mistake possible, and then, of course, Houston's able to win it, obviously, late. So just a heartbreaking loss for Oregon State. Look like they're finally going to win a game. They're finally going to get some confidence, maybe cool down the hot seat for Trent Bray a little bit, and then to lose like that, 27-24, that's a brutal loss for Oregon State in that game, even though they played much better for extended parts. And then App State was just obliterated. And bad bet for me on App State. I said off the bye, I don't trust Boise as big favorites. They reminded me, App State, why I didn't like their hire, Dowell Loggins. I don't think that was a great hire. And to have your team that ill-prepared off a bye week to play Boise State is brutal. Terrible coaching. They were unprepared. They couldn't stop anything on defense. The offense was just, terrible until the second half, when I think maybe Boise got a little, complacent with a big lead. It was a terrible game. To play like that, coming off a bye week, just awful from App State. Signs of why I didn't like the coaching hire to begin with. A.J. Swan struggled early. Again, don't be fooled. The 14 points came later in the game when they were already down big. They had no answers for Maddox Madsen throwing the football, no answers for the passing game, especially because they gave up 321 through the air. They didn't do that bad a job against the run. Sayer Gaines and Malik Sherrod didn't really get things going a ton on the ground, or Dylan Riley, but it was really the passing game that hurt this App State defense. So I don't know if I'm running to bet either of these teams in this spot. I mean, Oregon State's taken some of the early money. Now they are going obviously west to east here for this game in Boone, North Carolina. But boy, oh boy, it's not an easy. This is like Sam Houston again. I think Oregon State, I slightly lean in their direction, but after a heartbreaking loss to Houston, still a winless team, now going on the road, laying a small number, I'm not sure I'm in love with betting them at this kind of a price. CMAC, what do you think here? Oregon State, App State.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, we're betting numbers here, and it's just, even they're desperate. They need a win, of course. And man, just the missed field goals in that game, they dominated, I thought, the line of scrimmage, which I was shocked. Time of possession, they ran the football, and then just to all fall apart. And then the secondary fell apart late in that game. Wegman started throwing it. It's a big, big plays. And man, Oregon State not getting anything done. They got to not feel great. And App State just got its doors blown off. It seemed like right from the get against Boise State. We'll get to Boise State, big game later against Notre Dame. So like some of the numbers for App State, their defense looked good, but it's all who they played. And I was a little shocked at just how bad we already got into early on. Charlotte has been. Some of these other, but I mean, would they beat Lindenwood by 7?
On fraud alert. I think they might be frauds, quite honestly. I mean, what are their wins? Lindenwood and Charlotte. They got blown out by Southern Miss. They got blown out by Boise off a bye week. That I got. You know what the problem is? I thought Charlotte was going to be better this year. Doesn't look like they are. And I overvalued and overrated that win App State got against Charlotte, 34-11. I thought, maybe App State's going to be better than I thought. I'm not so sure about that now. They might have just beaten a bad Charlotte team, and now they've been whipped 2 weeks in a row, App State. So maybe they are the team that I thought they were coming into the year. They weren't going to be that great.
And we'll see with these. Like, I don't trust these offenses. I wish the total was a little bit higher. I lean under a tad bit. I mean, just a lean, though.